Today we talk a little bit about homeschooling and how that can definitely help you and your family, especially if you want to get away from all this woke bullshit that the radical leftist Marxists who are in control of the teachers' unions are trying to force on your children. So, first things first, if you look in by the way, I'm attorney Michael Eline. I am a patriot, and I'm also a lawyer licensed in California and the great state of Texas. And I believe in homeschooling, I believe in homesteading, and I believe in getting off of the government run anything and restoring America back to parents and families and away from all the freaks and weirdos that the far left mob has been trying to force upon your children. And to a lesser degree, the Republicrats, because I don't really there's not much difference. They're both leading us on a race to the bottom. It's just the modern Democrat is a snapshot of where the Republicrats are going to be in 10 years. So they're both leading us down the path of destruction and into the valley of the shadow of death. But yea, you need not fear any evil because you have attorney Michael Eline, patriot, pro Second Amendment, pro family, pro parent, pro everything that's good about America, including non fiat currency, here to stand up for you and give you a voice, the voice of the silent majority who's too terrified to be fired or lose your job if you speak up for what's right and what's just. So I'm driving, so I really can't look at the screen too much, but I'm headed over to Powerhouse Gym, going to try to get a workout in. I'm slowly, pardon me, trying to heal up my spine injury and trying to get back in. So I'm doing a lot of reverse sit-ups on the Roman chair, reverse, for the spine, call them spinal erectors, I believe, and doing everything that I can to get squared away. Good seeing you. What's the matter, you? Good seeing you, Age Go and Jody Shiloh. What's happening? So let's crack a lack in my peeps. So hopefully you guys are tuned in and ready for some fun. So what we're gonna do is, because I can't put the camera on my phys ace, you know what I'm saying? Because I hear that's a violation of the YouTube regs. What I do is I put it on the road, and I'm trying to kill two birds with one stone. So in the description, I have added a link. I believe it's called Achelous or Acellus for you parents who want to homeschool your kids K through 12, and it's an online learning program. My daughter, basically, it allows her to do her studies in advance. So if you want your daughter or your son to get through school quickly, privates, right? You can put them in this program and they could double up on their homework. So she does the equivalent of what a regular school would do in 1 week, uh, that a regular school would do in 3 weeks. So she should have her associate's degree by the time she's like 16, and she's 14 now. And I'm going to have her study under me on the law study program. So if everything works right, God willing, she'll have a bar card. She'll be a licensed California attorney by the time before she's 18. And so that's one benefit of homeschooling. Hey, Rami, good seeing you, man. Um, I thought there was a parking space. It was a road full of cars. Yeah, that's right, brother. But anyways, man. So the bottom line is, if you really care about your kids, get them as far away from these radical Marxist public school teachers as you can. That would be my best advice to you. There's no excuse for it. I know that there are some single moms. There are some families who it's hard for them. They kind of have to put their kids in public schools. And I'm hoping that the new president, with his promises of school vouchers and stuff like that, at least you'll be in a position now where your tax dollars aren't going to force you to have your kid educated by some whack job who thinks there should be tampon machines in the boys' room. The purpose of an education isn't to force left-wing political ideology on people, but the teachers' unions, run by far-left radical fascist Marxist Democrats, basically have been using schools to brainwash our kids into all this nonsense where they think that boys are girls and girls are boys, that America's evil. They've replaced the American flag with rainbow flags and BLM flags. Most parents that I speak to don't want that for their kids. And so they're fleeing California in droves. They're doing everything they can to get their kids away from that. So there is a subset of you who aren't able to generally homeschool your kids, but hopefully that money, the voucher, hopefully we'll have a voucher program where you can choose where you want to send your kid instead of having your kid brainwashed by some Marxist commie school teacher. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Now, for the rest of you who have the ability, a lot of you people work from home, for example, and you want to have your kids away from all these whack jobs at the public schools, then this is the show for you. Now, the number one objection that I get from a lot of people is, oh my God, but our kids won't be socialized if we pull them out of public school. Did you guys see the land speeder over there? Holy crap. On the left, I don't know if you saw that, but it was a land speeder from Star Wars. So that is the number one stupid comment that I hear, and that's just from people who were brainwashed by the leftist run public school system. Remember, our public schools were brought here by the Rockefeller family. The public school system, as we know it today, was imported into this country by the Rockefeller family from Prussia. Look it up. And in Prussia, the king was very upset that the Prussian army retreated from Napoleon and basically uh, stampeded their officers and ran back to Prussia. And so the king of Prussia was upset about that. So he said, we need to develop a system of education, basically where we brainwash the youth to do anything for the king, for the state, and believe whatever the state says, basically like the Pavlov's dog response. And so he developed a public school system with the social engineers of his day to basically brainwash the kids into being willing to fall on their sword for the government. And that is, in essence, what Rockefeller brought back to the United States. And initially, he offered local schools, school districts where we taught classical education like reading, writing, arithmetic, Greek history, learning how to read and write Latin, the classical education where they taught critical thinking, and deleted all that and started basically pushing government propaganda on the kids. And so he did that by offering these schools grants and nicer schoolhouses if only they would use his curriculum. And ultimately, he was able to lobby Congress by paying them off as well as the president to create the public education system that we have today. And then Jimmy Carter, after he created the Department of Education, that's when we saw the race to the bottom of our public education system. We saw the race to the bottom. Now, there are some school districts in some states that teach that math and reading is racist, and so they've eliminated math. And we see that schools are graduating kids who can't even read or write, and then we wonder why nobody wants to hire these kids. And then we hear a lot of people bragging about how educated they are who went to colleges. And I can tell you as a lawyer, I've tried to hire these people with these college degrees. They don't know grammar, they don't know how to spell, they have attitude problems, and they think the government owes them everything for free. And that's what you get on a modern college campus. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. I would walk over 20 college graduates. I would walk over 20 of them to get to a combat Marine Corps veteran. I could train one of those guys how to run a law firm faster and better than any college kid. I'm just telling you, if you really care about your kids, consider homeschooling them. Get them as far away from public learning institutions as you can. I have a friend, her daughter already has a bachelor's degree, and she's 18 years old because she's homeschooled. And basically, if they double up on their lessons, we have a deal with the kids that they can have a longer summer vacation. Now, let's go back to this argument about socialization, because this is the big one that the rainbow flag mafia tries to sell parents as an excuse to keep them in these overpaid, bloated so-called schools, which are basically political re-education camps for the left, in my opinion. Why on earth would you want your kids to be socialized around a bunch of people who think there should be tampon machines in the boys' room? Why on earth would you want your kids to be socialized where they think that boys should be able to share the women's locker room? What the hell are you thinking? I do not want my kids socialized in a system like that. It's the parents' job to teach their birds and the bees and values, not some teacher who spent their time at Berkeley in a safe space, taught to hate white males, taught that DEI, which means didn't earn it, is the way that the country should be run. No, there's a better way, and homeschooling is that way. So I highly recommend that you consider homeschooling. And there's a link in my in my ah, in the description of this video to, I think it's called Accolus, and you can enroll your kids in this program. And there's also, and it's a lot cheaper, you can enroll in their scholarship program and get the monthly lessons down. So you can reach out to me and I can help you with that. Now, there's also an even better program for the kindergartners and preschoolers offered by Brett Pike over at Classical Learner. And Brett Pike is a friend of mine. He is a homesteader, so he's hard to get a hold of, but he has these books called Cubs to Bears books. And as part of that learning program, he teaches kids how to be entrepreneurs, how to set up a lemonade stand, for example. In my case, I teach my daughter how to build websites, how to build WordPress websites, how to do coding. She already knows how to do HTML5 and JavaScript, as I do. And she's learning how to do shorts, and she's helping me with my YouTube channel. And I'm taking like the donations that you guys give me. So any of you guys who give me donations to the channel, like super chats or whatever, I give a portion of that to a Roth IRA for her, so she can learn about entrepreneurialism and about saving, so she doesn't have to be dependent on the government nonsense Social Security, which is basically already bankrupt. It's a Ponzi scheme. So what we do is we teach our kids about how to buy gold and silver, how to invest in Bitcoin, things that are actually going to matter to them as adults, not how to be dependent on the state and always vote for whoever's going to give them a bigger pension at your expense, right? Give me a bunch of ones if you think that's a better approach. And I wish I could look at all your comments, guys. I'm sure there's some commies in here who are absolutely against this, but that's only because they want to brainwash your kids and make boys dress like girls and be happy-go-lucky that way. But that's not how we are at Team MPE. We believe in traditional family values. We believe that God made man and woman, and that's what we do here at Team MPE. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Give me a bunch of twos if you think I'm a racist, bigot, and a homophobe for wanting to be able to decide what's best for my children instead of some blue-haired mafiosa over at the public school. Now, I'm not saying that all public school teachers are bad, just like I don't think that all cops are bad. But I think what happens is they go into the police force or the public school system with good intentions, but they realize right away that the union has decided their fate. And if they don't go along with the blue line mafia or the blue haired mafia, that they're going to lose their pension and they're going to lose their job. And so they're silent. Can you guys still hear me? Give me a bunch of ones if you can hear me. Basically I got clocked out. I got clocked out really quick, guys, because of the heat. So basically, okay, cool. So what happened is I got an overheat warning on my phone. So let me just try to get it back on. Just on my way to the gym. So wasn't trying to be a jerk or anything. What happened is I got one of those overheat warnings on the phone because I'm in Nevada right now and it's like, I don't know, 110 degrees or something. But anyways, all right. Okay, I'm glad you guys can hear me. I got the AC going a little bit more now, so hopefully that'll. Unfortunately, you're going to hear a little bit of the AC going, but anyways. So the idea is, and Rami, I saw your comment, and good to see you, Rami. Rami says there's no such thing as a good cop, and I would have to say there's no such thing as a good cop who stays on the force after they've been given a choice of upholding the rights of the people or upholding the needs of the municipal corporation. Just like I have the same problem with the public school system. I think that parents decide the fate of their kids, not the government or the state. I think it's a real mistake to keep your kids in a public school, and definitely putting them in a college where they're graduating people who can't even read or write or know proper grammar. It's like I hire these guys from colleges and like they don't know grammar. They rely on spell check. They basically got through all their exams using Chat GPT, and they're just complete buffoons, and they're not capable of critical thinking. And everything that you say, they're hypersensitive. Everything's about race and gender and safe spaces. I mean, these are people who are never going to make any money. What is going to end up happening with these guys is they're going to end up being on welfare for the rest of their lives. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. These are people that are not capable of any kind of critical thinking. They just believe whatever the left tells them, and that is the way it goes. So I'm just taking a little bit longer route so I can finish what I needed to say. So, anyways, guys, what I'm doing here is I am cruising around, just trying to finish up. So, in any event, homeschooling is the future. If you want intelligent kids who are going to be able to take care of themselves and provide for their wives, especially you young men who can provide for their wives and kids and not be wards of the state, I highly, highly recommend homeschooling. I think it's super important. And so we'll do some additional shows in the future about homeschooling, and I'll try to have Brett Pike come back on as a guest, and we'll try to get into a little bit more. Look, I know I'm one of the only lawyers out there who has the balls to talk about this stuff. Uh, Look, if I'm going to lose a client, or if I'm going to piss off some teacher or some government employee, so be it. But I am not going to be silenced by these basically what amounts to the modern day National Socialist Deutscher Arbeiterpartei. Hey, that dude looks like he works out. What do you guys think? Got some freaking wings, man. So this is where I go to get out all the stress and frustration. Powerhouse Gym. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So hopefully you guys had some fun. You learned a little bit today about homeschooling and now really quick, one last thing that we're going to get into before I leave is we're going to talk about stand by. All right, guys, we're going to talk a little bit about freaking doggone. We're going to talk about socialization. All right. If you want your son especially to be socialized, pull him out of public school right away before he's confused about his gender, because that's the main goal of these guys. They want to sterilize your freaking kids and make your boys think they're girls, in my opinion. Get your kids into judo or wrestling or some kind of team sports. Those are the friends that they should be hanging around with. People who are like-minded with other parents who care enough about their kids to have them involved in those activities. Those get to be their friends. Not some kid who comes home going, "What's good, Dad? How y'all doing?" No, you don't want your son talking like an idiot. You want him to be able to work and have a good job and be squared away. Now, Lenny Molly, I understand what you're saying about the social contract, but under natural law, we all have a social contract, but it's not what you're thinking. The social contract under natural law is to basically do no harm to others. It's the golden rule. That's really all it is. Now, the modern leftist social contract is basically do whatever the government says, but we don't buy that here on Team MPE. Um, I know you're right. What's the matter? What's the matter? You says, but what are the boys supposed to do when it's their time of the month? And by the way, guys, I got the new sugar-free nicotine pouches from Scandinavia. So these are the ones that I'm using now to kind of help replenish my nicotine receptors. Everybody has them. I recommend every once in a while you take it. Yeah, that's right, Lenny. But I'm with you. I mean, I get what you're saying, but just remember that there is basically what the social contract is. Everyone has a duty of reasonable care, not to violate their neighbor's rights. And if they violate that and the neighbor is damaged and it's the proximate or actual cause of the injury and there's provable damages, then you have the right to sue them and stuff like that. And that comes from the old Hatfields and McCoys, where there were blood debts and a pound of flesh. And so the idea is that we get away from assassinating our neighbors and stuff like that, and we use the tort law system in order to get justice. So That's real social justice, not teaching everybody that white people are evil, which is basically what DEI and critical race theory is. Good seeing you, Sinful Toaster. Now, Sinful Toaster says, I don't have kids. Why do I have to pay for my neighbor's kids' education? Hey, man, you're preaching to the choir. I think that we need to go back to a classical education system and get rid of all these teachers unions, which are basically run by the Democrat Party. We just saw that the president is cutting off funding for NPR and PBS, which are both far left radical anti-American organizations that teach people to hate their country. And I think that that's amazing. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree that the government should never subsidize any kind of news station or anything like that. Otherwise, you're going to have what's going on in the United Kingdom with the BBC, right? You're going to have the government brainwashing the population, saying that they have free press. But when the government gives you money for anything, you become a ward of the state. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. It's your money. You should decide how to spend it, how you want to spend it, not the government. Prior to 1913, our roads, our bridges, and everything were built with tariffs. And then when we sold our government out to the banksters, right, like Kuhn Loeb Bank and all these banks, right, they created the privately owned Federal Reserve Bank, and you can't even fire the head of the Federal Reserve if you're the president, which is insane. And they get to decide what goes on. And they create this fiat currency, and then it's print money. It's worthless. We need to go back on a non-fiat based currency system and bring America back to our founding principles of duty, honor, and country. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Now, hopefully you guys had a good time today. I know we don't have a lot of people in the chat because it's just a drive to the gym. And it's probably not the juiciest topic. It's homeschooling. But it's important to me that you guys know that there's another way to rear your children. If you want to socialize your kids, get them into sports. Have them learn about sporting activities. And obviously, if you have a daughter, make sure there's no men competing against her, which is absurd. I don't know of anybody I've spoken to except Democrats who think that boys who think that they're women suffering from gender dysphoria should be allowed to compete in women's sports. To me, it's disgusting. As a father, it makes me sick to my stomach that this is even considered to be okay. And hopefully you guys agree with me. Otherwise, you're probably on the wrong channel. But with that being said, guys, I've had a really great time with you. It was a short video, and I know we got cut off by my phone overheating. Yeah, that's right. And so Summoner says we in the Netherlands we have media financially supported by the state. And look what happened in the Netherlands. You flooded your country with jihadists. The RAPE rates are I think 90% caused by these so-called immigrants, and they immediately go on welfare. They're not contributing to the economy. Look at what happened in New York. Now they've got the freaking on their speaker system, blaring that shit all over New York City, right? And violating all the noise laws because they're so terrified of these guys, right? Because they'll come at you with a machete and they beat their women, a lot of them, and make them wear hefty bags. Why would you want people like that in your country? This is America, guys. Look at the way they treat women. It's unbelievable. So let's try to basically support each other and create parallel systems where we look after one another. We stop shopping at Target or any of these big corporations that support this DEI bullshit, and we return America to a place where merit decides whether or not you're promoted, where merit decides whether somebody buys from you. Most of the cases that I get are from military veterans because they know that I was a Marine and they know that I'm going to go to battle for them, do or freaking die. We need to start putting judges in power who think like me. We might be Sinful Toaster, but I believe that people like you and I, where two or more are gathered in the name of Team MPE, the Lord is present. And I believe that Team MPE can, one by one, with your help, we can form parallel systems. We all should only be buying from one another. If you've got a dairy farm, I'll buy your organic milk. If you have a grass-fed cattle farm, I'll buy your freaking cuts, man. I'll pay a premium to support you. And so, again, if you support me, send me a super chat. Buy memberships. Buy as many memberships as you can. Buy 20, buy 30, so we can get them out to other people so they can learn about parallel systems and taking back their country. In future episodes, we're going to talk about the government's war against the Amish. By the way, the Amish refused to take these things that the government tried to force on us. I don't think they have any reported instances of autism in the Amish community. I wonder why that is. Unfortunately, you can't talk about why that might be on YouTube because they have a deal with the World Health Organization, which is run by a known former member of a known Islamic terrorist organization. And the people who fund it are people like Bill Gates, whose father was a Planned Parenthood guy, who believe in population control. They believe in literally reducing the population. Why would you put anything in your body that those people promote when you know their goal is to reduce the population? I think we need to be fruitful and multiply and have as many babies as we can, just like the Islamic guys are doing, but teach our kids to respect their women and not beat them and make them wear hefty bags. You know, support your daughters, right? Keep the men out of the freaking women's bathroom. So, well, they might be, Lenny. They're definitely not good people. And, well, okay. So all you guys who want to help me form parallel systems, please reach out. What's the Matter You is a good buddy of mine, and him and Kinetic Customs. If you reach out to them, make sure to subscribe to their channels. And I recommend that we hook up with John Felix as well on his Discord channel, and we come up with some ideas to push forward. Like I have one idea that Felix and I are gonna move forward, which is we're going to try to use our YouTube channels to promote other lawyers who will help us with our civil rights claims in other states. Obviously, I'm only licensed in California and Texas. I love Felix too. I think he's a good guy. And I'm really sick and tired of the government trying to turn everybody against white people and white males. It's ridiculous. We're all Americans. We shouldn't be judging people based on their skin color. It's racism. It's all it is. It's racism. DEI and critical race theory is just anti-white racism. It's stupid. Why on earth would we want to have a government that supports turning all of us Americans against each other? If Martians came down tomorrow and attacked the United States, there would be no such thing as black and white. We would all be considered humans fighting against the invader. So give me a bunch of ones if you agree with that. That's what I'm trying to get at, guys. We need to get away from all this nonsense. We need to return America and the healthcare too. And Rami, thank you so much for your advice about I think it was MSM. I've been taking that stuff. It works. Methyl sulfonomethane. It works. Definitely helped me out a lot. And Rami, I know I promised to call you, dude. I've just been, I've been on my back. I've got really bad sciatica, but I'm trying to help fight it over here at the gym. So just keep that in mind, guys. I know we don't have a big show today, but one or two of you guys is all it takes. Yeah, MMS and DMSO. DMSO, yes, I use that as well. I use the DMSO cream. It works. It makes sure you get the taste of garlic in your mouth, but the stuff works. And I'm also using colloidal silver and just trying to use all the natural healing. So remember, Big Pharma can't make money off natural remedies. What they do is they synthesize it and get a patent on it. That's how they make their money. The problem is when you synthesize chemicals and natural stuff into synthetics, there's side effects. So next time you buy some of their synthetic stuff, pull out the warning. It's usually like this. It's huge, like this huge piece of paper about all the side effects. It's unbelievable. I'll check out Barbara O'Neill as well. I think that's the Australian woman, if I'm not mistaken. I've seen some of her stuff. The Dems would want to get the Martians on the government door. Yeah, that's true. Here's another issue I've got. Look, Trump is kicking the shit out of communist China. Remember, all these guys had these unfair tariffs on the United States. So he said, okay, we're going to do matching reciprocal tariffs, and we're going to have equal trade, right? And now Communist News Network, PMS, NBC all attacked him, and they're talking about how prices are going to go up. Dude, look at the gas prices. Under Joe Biden, a carton of eggs was like $20, right? Eggs are down, gas is down, everything's cheaper. Stop watching Communist News Network. Stop watching regular news media. They're basically a mouthpiece for our enemy, Communist China. I could never understand why our news media supports our enemies. I just can't believe it. It just blows me away. If you guys want to get real news, pro-American news, watch my channel. Again, I'm a libertarian. I don't support either party, but I'm going to give Trump credit where credit's due. He at least is trying to put in place a financial system where we can eliminate the Department of Education, commies, eliminate the Federal Reserve Bank, a privately run banking system, a cartel, fiat currency system, and get us back on the gold standard. And I appreciate that. Now, I don't like a lot of the stuff he does, but I'm gonna take what I can get, and then what we can do then, once we go back onto a currency system that's based on something of value, right? My next video is going to be about, we're going to do a little bit about Bitcoin. I'm going to teach you how I've been leveraging Bitcoin using MSTR, MSTY, and MSTU. I'm going to tell you how I'm able to buy Bitcoin and how that has absolutely created a situation where my wife and kids, when I pass away, are going to be taken care of for the rest of their lives. Get off of the government, guys, and get into critical thinking. Join me at Team MPE. Now, what's the matter? You said that your investment dropped 42K. Well, that's okay. My investments dropped 150,000 when he hit the tariffs, and now they're up over $1 million. So that's the way it works. So volatility is your friend, and I'm going to teach you about some things that you can invest in where you can take advantage of the volatility and become wealthy. But don't look. You guys are all relying on an income tax system, a fiat currency based system that allegedly none of you support. We're in a position now to where we might be able to get rid of the IRS. We might be able to get rid of the Federal Reserve banking cartel and go back to the same tariff-based system that made America great prior to 1913. Now, anybody who's against that goes against our founding principles and values. And so it's something that you guys, yes, invest in silver, invest in gold, and I think that you should be buying as much Bitcoin as you can. Um, and and as far as getting slaughtered on groceries, under Sleepy Joe Biden, it was about 50% higher under Sleepy Joe Biden than it is under Orange Man Bad. And it's going to keep going down. The jobs numbers just came in the other day. That's not reported in the communist run news. Higher than they ever expected. Prices are much further down than they were under Sleepy Joe. That's not reported. So all you guys are getting is what's being reported in the Marxist run press. And remember this, legacy media is the enemy of the American people. And if you guys want, we can get into it on another show. But what's the matter with you? Look, you're entitled to your opinion. I don't see that happening with me. I go to the grocery store, eggs are down, milk is down, all of our groceries are far down. Now, if you live in communist California, everything's up because of all the government taxes. Like I think they have like $2 on gas. It's like $17 for some eggs. It's pretty crazy. But I would definitely recommend that you buy silver, you buy gold. But remember, when you guys buy silver and gold, here's the problem. You can't sell it at the spot price. You got to, when you go to a gold dealer to cash it in for fiat currency, you've got to buy it, you got to sell it at a reduced price because they've got to make a profit when they resell it. So Bitcoin helps eliminate that problem. And these digital currencies help eliminate that problem. So I don't have all the answers, but I can just tell you right now that when Trump announced the tariffs, my portfolio went down by I think over 150 grand, and now it went up every time they announce that there's going to be a trade deal and fair trade, it pops back up. And I've been able to leverage MSTU to where I'm able to, like, I bought it at 4 and now it's up to 9. So I had bought like 10,000 shares of MSTU at 4, and then I sold it at 9, made a couple $100,000 fiat currency profit. And so I'm just telling you, you got to learn how to take advantage of what he's doing, and you'll all get rich. And so I want to help all you guys understand that. I want to teach you guys how to take advantage of volatility, because that's what all the wealthy guys are doing. I just want you guys, I want to teach you everything that I know. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I became a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad, and I'm not the stupidest guy either. And I've made over $300,000 for my clients in verdicts and settlements. I have one of the largest motorcycle accident settlements in the history of the United States, over $10 million for a former Army airborne veteran. And most of my clients are vets. They trust me. They know that I'm going to go to war for them, and I want to go to war for you guys too. So let me see here. Um, Let me see. So Age Go says a friend of mine says they can't get help from New Mexico legal aid. They're blaming Trump. Well, look, if you want free stuff, vote Democrat. If you want self-reliance, vote Libertarian. We can help take care of each other. I'm trying to form an alliance of other attorneys who are willing to work for pro bono, or at least by getting some free advertising on my channel, on Felix's channel. Hopefully we can get some other guys on board, like Reluctant Prophet. And when we get Lane Myers out of jail, on his channel as well, promoting people who have the same traditional values. Well, we vote libertarian, what's the matter you, by voting for each other. Because once you no longer participate in the government system, just like Martin Luther King did, right? He created a parallel system. He just told everybody to stop shopping at these businesses that discriminated against his people. And then what did they do? They changed and they started catering towards his people. We can do the same thing. If you guys listen to me and we can form a parallel system, I don't care what color you are, green, black, I don't give a shit. If we help each other, we can create a parallel system and get off of this fiat currency. We can start trading in gold and silver together. We can start buying our products directly from each other, doing trading, just like our founding fathers did in the colonies, and we can brush off the king. So, with that being said, get your plantains here, here, here. There you go. So, but look, I love having all these guys like Rami and What's the Matter You holding me to account. I don't profess to know everything, but I do profess this, that the Amish do have it right, Rami. They do have it right. I don't see them suffering from dementia when they're old. I don't see that their children, after they get all of their what's, suffering from what do they call it? What's that thing called again that all these kids are getting now? You got, you know what I'm talking about, or any of this other crap like spike proteins. So autism, kids aren't getting autism. So yeah, absolutely, Rami. Yeah, and I love you too, brother. And I love all you guys on my channel. And I know we don't all agree on everything, and I don't want us to. I don't like stupid, mindless drones. I like it when people like What's the Matter You call me out on stuff. Because I'm not into this whole you got to agree with everything your party goes along. That's bullshit, man. No, we have to be critical thinkers. We have to think for ourselves. All I can do is offer you my ideas, my understanding of the law, natural law, what's best for us as human beings. And definitely, 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 we need to get you guys learning about the future of currency. I'm in a position now to where I can pay cash for a house because of my smart investing in the volatile economy. Remember, anytime the economy goes down, that's a time to buy at the dip. So, and when the economy goes up, that's a time to sell at the high. And I'm going to teach you everything that I know about that, because there's no reason why we can't make the same money that these banksters are making and reclaim as retail investors our rights as Americans. We can do it, guys. We can definitely do it. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to go hit the gym. Semper Fi, do or die. Make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure to save. Make sure to get me super chats and memberships when you can afford it, because it really does help me a lot. Do these shows and help me teach my daughter about how to run a business. And yeah, and tariffs are forcing equality. That's right. And remember, guys, that this whole anti-tariff thing, that's the bankers are terrified that we're going to get rid of the income tax and go back to a fair system where we have a Department of External Revenue, a Department of External Revenue. The government has no business knowing how much you make. These IRS agents, the vast majority of them are far, far left Marxists, in my opinion. And they hate people like you and I. They think that if you have a job or you own a business, that you're just a piggy bank to them. And we need to take back our country from these people, and return our country back to a system of fairness. If you guys want to have a middle class, the best way to do it is to get rid of the income tax. Give me a bunch of ones if you agree. Anyways, with that being said, Semper Fidelis. Hopefully you guys saw my comment on the Arizona website fighting against the Matt Walker's attempt to take away the free speech rights of victims who are being falsely charged by the state to be able to record in court. So hopefully you guys saw that. I tried to give a nice comment in there supporting Lane Myers. Make sure to go check out Reluctant Prophet, and this is a public service, and support their channels as well. And I'll keep you updated on my progress with John Phelaks as well, with respect to trying to form a system where I can help you guys find lawyers in your state where you're not spending $1 million. Look, most lawyers are like anyone else. They're basically sheep. And if they see that, oh, Eline's got 25,000 or 1 million subscribers, I'll help him. Sure, just give my law firm a plug. Well, if John Felix does that, if Reluctant Prophet does that, if this is a public service does that, now we're going to start getting lawyers helping us. Because I can't help all you guys. I'm only licensed in California and Texas. I primarily do personal injury. I try to stay away from civil rights cases because the money that it costs me to bring those cases is often more than I'm able to recover for myself after I get my client paid. And I got a family to support. If I could do all this stuff for free, like if I was getting millions of dollars in donations and super chats, of course I'd do it for free. But guys, I got to support my family. I'm a freaking lawyer. That's how I support my family. But at least I can teach you guys what I know. And if you guys want to learn how to become a lawyer with no law degree or undergrad like I did, you can get a copy of my book for $20 by going to my home YouTube channel. Click on the description, go to PayPal. It's $19.99, and I talk about the different states that offer those programs, and then in accord and in conjunction with that, homeschool your kids. There's no reason why you can't homeschool your kids. If you're a single mom, if you have a regular job and it's hard for you to do it, I respect that. But there's other ways that we can do it, and we'll talk about that in future episodes. I'll have Brett Pike come on, and we'll talk about that. Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Gloria. Gloria, give me a bunch of ones for Gloria. She gave me $2. And listen up, guys. There's 25 of you in here. If 25 people gave me $2, that would be significant. So I'm not looking for these big like whale guys that throw me $100. That happens sometimes, but $1, $2, whatever you can afford. It's almost like going to church and making a tithe. I'm preaching patriotism and American values, family values, and I'm your preacher today. So anything that you can do to support the church of Team MPE, man, let's do it. Now, Gloria Ad says, I'm a single mom. My kid is homeschooled. Hell yeah. So that's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear what you can't do. I want to hear what you can do. So with that being said, God bless you, Gloria. God bless you, Lenny Malley. God bless you, Stomper and Roro. Good seeing you. Roro! And Rami and all my homeboys and homegirls. Jody Shiloh and what's the matter, you? Hey, I'm never gonna calm down, Roro. I'm on my nicotine right now, brother. You know, I can't. I'm amped up. I'm getting ready to go work out. So I am Lenny. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the road, try to get to the gym, and try to get a little bit of a workout in. And maybe tonight I'll go live and do something else. Maybe we'll talk about Bitcoin. Or maybe you know what? Maybe tomorrow I do Bitcoin and gold and silver investing, and if I do go live today, we'll do some more DEI hires. We'll do some more videos about corrupt and idiotic DEI government officials and how they're destroying this country and ripping off taxpayers. And, and Sticky Wicket says I'm much better than the one I hear at the fake church I go to. Hey, but you still should go to church, man, because it's not about your pastor or your priest or whatever it is that you're doing. It's about congregating with like-minded people. And the physical spirit of being in a flock is really, really important, guys. It's really, really important that you congregate and not just sit there in front of your YouTube channel. But I agree, I'm better than any pastor I've ever met because I teach things that are going to help you be able to support and survive in times of trouble. Um, yeah, what's the matter? He says, no, it's church, not like-minded. Yeah, yo sé, pero it's if you do find a decent church, like if I was able to have a kinship group in Nevada with guys like you, I would do it. It's better than going to an AA meeting, right? You don't need AA meetings when the Spirit of the Lord is strong. You're just going to fight it with your soul and your spirit. So, anyways, I'm going to talk to you guys later. Sinful Toaster, I'm out. I stayed on a little longer than I should have. It's cutting into my workout time. I still got to go to Whole Foods, and I still got to go pick up some stuff from the dry cleaners. And I agree with that too, Gloria Ad, but it might be the wrong church. And we can form our own church. Look at the Amish, man. And again, we're never all going to agree on everything, but the idea is to congregate with people who are like-minded. Get off the government crack. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon.